Secretary of War, not the General-in-Chief. When Grant asked that these departments be placed under him in the chain of command, the President explained that while he could not unilaterally alter the law, "There is no one but myself that can interfere with your orders, and you can rest assured that I will not." The President did intervene when Grant clashed with Stanton over force reductions in the Washington area. The general wanted to transfer as many support troops as possible to the front lines, but the War Secretary overruled his order to send artillerymen from the defenses of the capital to the Virginia front. "I think I rank you in this matter, Mr. Secretary," Grant said. "We shall have to see Mr. Lincoln about that," came the reply. At the White House, the President ruled in favor of Grant. "You and I, Mr. Stanton, have been trying to boss this job, and we have not succeeded very well with it. We have sent across the mountains for Mr. Grant, as Mrs. Grant calls him, to relieve us, and I think we had better leave him alone to do as he pleases." Lincoln did not, however, accede to Grant's request to merge some of the 20 independent military departments, to eliminate extraneous commands, and to retire scores of generals. In an election year, such steps might have been politically ruinous. But he did agree to remove Nathaniel P. Banks from command of the Department of the Gulf and replace him with E.R.S. Canby. The failure of Banks's Red River campaign in April sorely disappointed the President, who, upon receiving word of that debacle, said he had rather cozened up to Banks, but for some time past had begun to think he was mistaken in doing so. To express his disappointment, he quoted verses from The Fire Worshippers by Thomas Moore. "Oh, ever thus, from childhood's hour, I've seen my fondest hopes decay. I never loved a tree or flower, but 'twas the first to fade away. I never nursed a dear gazelle to glad me with its soft black eye, but when it came to know me well, and loved me, it was sure to die." Political considerations also affected the choice of Grant's principal subordinates in the East. While Meade, a professional soldier, would remain in command of the Army of the Potomac, the two men most responsible for aiding him against Lee were political generals with limited military talent, Butler and Sigel. The former had been a prominent Democrat, and Lincoln considered it essential to retain the support of war Democrats. The latter was exceptionally popular with the Germans, an important voting bloc that had shown signs of grave disaffection. On April 30th, as Grant was about to launch his offensive, Lincoln wrote him, "Not expecting to see you again before the spring campaign opens, I wish to express in this way my entire satisfaction with what you have done up to this time, so far as I understand it. The particulars of your plans I neither know or seek to know. You are vigilant and self-reliant, and, pleased with this, I wish not to obtrude any constraints or restraints upon you. While I am very anxious that any great disaster or the capture of our men in great numbers shall be avoided, I know these points are less likely to escape your attention than they would be mine. If there is anything wanting which is within my power to give, do not fail to let me know it. And now, with a brave army and a just cause, may God sustain you." Graciously, the general replied, "The confidence you express for the future and satisfaction with the past in my military administration is acknowledged with pride. It will be my earnest endeavor that you and the country shall not be disappointed. From my first entrance into the volunteer service of the country to the present day, I have never had cause of complaint, have never expressed or implied a complaint against the administration or the Secretary of War for throwing any embarrassment in the way of my vigorously prosecuting what appeared to me my duty. Indeed, since the promotion which placed me in command of all the armies, and in view of the great responsibility and importance of success, I have been astonished at the readiness with which everything asked for has been yielded, without even an explanation being asked. Should my success be less than I desire, and expect, the least I can say is, the fault is not with you." Among Grant's legions was Burnside's corps, which contained some black